Hello, guys. Welcome to my first ever episode of my podcast, which is called Real Faith, Real Life. So my name is Navid, and I am your host for this amazing, faithful, godly journey today. So who I am is I am just like I'm a normal human being. I'm a teenager, and I'm just going through life, but godly way, like how this podcast is about how we can show our life, like how we can, so it's in the name, right? Okay, sorry, so it's the name's Real Faith, Real Life, and the reason I started it is because we can talk about how we can show our real faith in life. Like, we have a real faith, but then we also have a real life. But we don't want those two to be separate. We don't want to have two lives. We want to put them together. And this podcast is about exploring that and seeing how we could live a real faith and a real life together. What really, I don't know, I've been wanting to start this for a while. And yeah. Alright. So, yeah. Okay. My relationship with God is really up and down. When you think about it, this is like, okay, so I said this in one of my testimonies before, but basically, I really like poetry, and there's like a pit, okay? Basically, there's a pit, right? And there's this giant ladder that you need to get access to. And at the bottom of the pit is you, and the person that gives you access to the ladder is God, right? And basically, this pit is just every single piece of shame, every single piece of doubt, every single thing that's in our real life that is taking us away from our real faith is leading us deeper and deeper into this pit, and we keep digging a hole deeper for ourselves. And basically, what I'm trying to say is I wanted to start this to help people get out of the pit, to help people get access to the ladder with God, to help people to get access to God, and to help people to be able to get out of this pit. Do you get what I'm saying? Alright. Yeah. Okay. I'm really excited for this. So, as you can see, we're in nature right now, and I just wanted this podcast to be set in nature, to just like be set outside, because a lot of podcasts are like inside, indoors. It's like loud. It's not loud. It's like quiet inside, but then it's also quiet outside. Like, why not? Why don't you want to be in fresh air? Okay. Here I am. Yeah. All right. Let's get into it. All right. So I have been struggling with combining my faith and my life, and it's kind of ironic. It's like, so you're starting this podcast to help people how to combine their faith and their life, but you're not even, your faith and your life isn't even combined yet, right? And it's like, well, I don't know. It's like, I want them to be combined, but I don't know how to. And it's just these little things that keep making us, like, they keep making us feel distant from God, and they keep making us feel deeper into that pit. And it's just a matter of fact that we're on earth, right? But we always have access to God. We always have access to a spirit. But sometimes we just decide to not do it. And that was me for a really long time. Yeah, it's just real faith, real God. Okay, I keep saying the name, but I'm making nothing out of it. Okay, so let's split it up. Since this is the first episode, I really would just want to introduce myself, introduce the meaning of this podcast, let you guys know a little bit about my testimony, where I come from, my background. But yeah, so, and then we'll also get into some of the deep stuff, which is like faith in school and that for the rest of this episode. But right now, until we get to the halfway mark of like 20 minutes, we're gonna talk about ourselves. Alright, my relationship with faith. Okay, first, actually, before we talk about my relationship with faith, let's talk about my relationship with life. With real life, alright? Me, I love my life. I loved it, but I didn't always love it. There's sometimes things in life that just separate you from God, and it's so many things that just, yeah, and I was separated for a really long time, for a super duper long time, right? It's just, yeah, it's really difficult to just stay with God, to be with Him, to experience Him when you're trying to live your life to its fullest. Like, think about YOLO mindset. Like, when it comes to YOLO mindset, it's like, oh, you only live once, like, do what you can while you can, right? But it's like, when it comes to Christianity, we're born once, and that's in the flesh, and then we're born again through Christ, and then when we die, we don't die forever, we die and we go to heaven to live eternally. And it's always like, oh, the you only live once mindset, but why would we want to live a life once? Because we're living it again, so we're gonna have time to do it again, right? We have all this time on our hands, and people doing the you only live once mindset is kind of crazy. It's crazy to me, because it's like, you're gonna go do all these bad things, you're gonna go do all these sinful things, and then just say, oh, YOLO, YOLO. But it's like, bro, be so for real. Because if you're a Christian and you believe in that you only live once mindset, and I'm not trying to like say it's wrong and anything, my foot's falling asleep. That's annoying. Can't sit cross-legged. Alright, but it's not like the you only live once mindset. It's the fact that you're saying you only live once, and yes, you do, but you gotta live your life again through Christ. Like, in heaven. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, when it comes to the end times, we're not gonna only live once. We're gonna be where our spirit is gonna be separated from our body, and we're gonna go to heaven and spend eternity with God. You know? And yeah, so that's that. We kind of went off topic there, but I was separated from God, I was distant, I didn't spend time with Him, and I fell into so much sin. I was so separated from God. That was when I lived real life and real faith differently. I had two faces, one outside of church. Oh, my foot just, that hurts. One, I had a life outside of church, and I had a life inside of church, and they were completely different. Like, let me tell you, bro, they were, oh, butterfly. But they were so different. They were like, I lived a certain way in church, and then I lived a certain way at school. I lived a certain way at like the city, like outside church. Like, I acted so different, and it got to a point where I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? And my real faith, it wasn't real faith. It's called lukewarm, guys. It's lukewarm. When you live two lives separate from God, it's lukewarm. You're not choosing a side. Like, you know when things happen and people are always like, bro, I wish they choose a side. Like, you know? Like, choose a side. Like, whose side are you on? Like, when it comes to all this celebrity drama, to this, like, that. And, like, it's like, oh, like, are you on Nicki Minaj's side or Cardi B's side or something like that, right? But it's like, you know whose side I'm on? I'm on God's side, bro. I don't know why I did that voice, but it's just a matter of fact of, like, living your lives together. Living your real faith and your real life together in harmony, in unison with God. And when you don't do that, you're separating yourself. People say all this stuff, I'm Christian, I'm gonna go to heaven, but then you say you're Christian, but you don't act on it. That's how I was like. I said I was Christian, but I didn't act on it. And because I didn't act on it, I got separated. I became depressed. I developed overthinking, which I'm still struggling with right now, but I believe in Jesus' name that it'll go away next year in 2026. This is filmed a day before New Year's Eve, by the way, which is crazy. But it's insane. Okay. Times I felt close to God. Now we're talking about real faith. We're going to start talking about putting real faith and real life together, because sometimes our real faith and our real life are separate. Let's be for real. Living with God is difficult. It's a difficult path, and it's a difficult thing. Sometimes you feel separated, and sometimes you feel alone. That's how I felt. The church can hurt you, which can separate you from God, if I'm being for real. The church will hurt you. It will hurt you, okay? You will always, I feel like throughout every single Christian lifetime, you will be at a church where you're hurt. Most of people would have been at a church where they were hurt. I was at a church where I was hurt. But now I'm at a church where I feel fulfilled with the presence of the Holy Spirit, which is the Holy Spirit with God. It's amazing. Yeah. But when you think about real faith, living in unison with real faith and real life, it's difficult. I got so off topic. Why was I talking about church, bro? That relates nothing to the situation here. But trying to live a real faith with God it's so difficult. Like, there's that one verse, the narrow path. Let me find it real quick on my laptop. It's in front of me. I'm using it as a stand for my phone. A difficult path by verse. Alright. Alright. Bible Gateway, my favorite NIV. Alright. Matthew 7:13-14, the narrow and wide gates. Enter through the narrow gate, for the wide gate is broad. Enter through the narrow gate, for the wide gate. Oh my god. Okay. Verse 13. Enter through the narrow gate, for the wide is the gate, and broad is the road that leads to destruction. Oh, okay. So, enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. Let's think about that real quick. When you enter through the wide gate, it's giant. It's called following the crowd. Like, when you follow in the crowd, when you hop into trends, when you fall into sin and that, you're entering through the wide. Okay, falling into sin is different. But when you're following the crowd, you're entering the wide gate. Oh, my foot hurts so much. Okay. I'm not sitting cross-legged again. Maybe I will. We'll never know. But enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction. So, and many enter through it. So it's called following the crowd. When you follow the crowd, you enter through the wide gate. Say like you're in school and your school life is separate from your church life. Then you're entering through the wide gate once you enter school. Like, do you get what I'm saying? You follow the crowd, but following the crowd is going to lead you to destruction. That's what it's saying. And it says, but small is the gate and narrow is the road that leads to life, and only if you find it. Only if you find it. Okay, think about the pit, right? The pit, the ladder that gets you out of the pit, the ladder that gets you to God, right? Only if you find it. We don't want a few to find it. We want millions of people to find it. We want billions. We want everyone on earth to find it, right? And it's just talking about how we as a church, we don't need to bring people down. We don't need to do this. We need to lift people up. We need to allow people. Gossip destroys the church. Am I not wrong? It's like a poison that exits your mouth, and then once it exits your mouth, it like boom, it goes everywhere. It's like think like grass, right? You plant one grass seed. You plant, like, let's say you plant a few grass seeds. And then it grows, and then it gets more, and then it gets more, and then it gets more, and then it gets more. And then before you know it, sorry, my screen went dim. Before you know it, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Like, everyone, right now, where I'm sitting, there was probably like one little grass patch, but it just grew, and it grew, and it grew. And now the grass is everywhere. That's what gossip is. Gossip grows, and it destroys the church. It destroys people's lives. Right? What it's saying here is, small is the gate and narrow is the road that leads to life, and only if you find it. In some cases, people find the gate, but they turn away. They find the road, but they go the other way. You know why they go the other way? Because sometimes they've been heartbroken. Sometimes the church, okay, hear me out here. Okay, this might be a little controversial, but the church leads them away from it. What I'm saying is, we need to be a loving people. We need to be a type of persons that obey God, that lead people to God, you know? Okay. But yeah, living real faith with a real life is so difficult. It's so difficult, but we have to persevere through it. Perseverance is key to success. That's something I've like kept in my head for so long. That perseverance is... Those birds are praising right now. That perseverance is the key. Okay, that's kind of crazy. They're praising. I need water. Alright, but it's basically like perseverance is the key to success. If you don't persevere, you're not going to succeed, right? You fall once, you get back up, you know? Okay. And I was like that. When we think about it, I was like that. I got heartbroken by the church. I got heartbroken in so many freaking ways. And, oh, see, I just saw. I'm going to bleep that out. Don't swear. Got heartbroken in so many ways. And the church led me away from that. The church broke my heart. If I'm being for real, I faced racism. I faced allegations. I faced rumors. And that all led me away from God to the point where I'm living a life of sin. You know? Until I found a healthy church. That's one of the keys. In my opinion, that is one of the keys. Find a healthy place to be in. Like, I'm not even kidding. When you find somewhere healthy, it becomes so much easier to be with God. So much easier. Like, bro, I struggled with social anxiety. I did not know that right now I would be in public, by the way, in public, filming a podcast. Like, that's the last thing that would cross my mind. But, yeah. The right people lead you closer to God. The right places lead you closer to God. The right area, sometimes struggles lead you closer to God, if I'm being for real. Like, you can ask God, God, give me strength. He gives you a struggle to give you strength. What does that do? That leads you closer to God. Am I not wrong? Am I not wrong? Alright. Yeah. Sometimes where I felt distant, sometimes where I felt tired is during school. I go to a Catholic school, and if I'm being so honest, the time where I felt most distant from God is at school. When I tell people that, they're like, but you went to a Catholic school, but you go to a Catholic school, not when I go. But you go to a Catholic school, like, what do you mean? Like, bro, you do not know the amount of things that go on there, and the amount of undisciplined people, and the amount of distance from God is at my school right now. I'm trying so hard to bring it back, and it's just, sometimes when you're at a school where you're not on fire for God, it makes you tired. it makes you tired. When I was out of school and I was on fire for God, I got tired. I got so tired. Bro, I was so tired. Can't even think about it right now, bro. I was so freaking, oh my God. Got to a point where I was thinking of leaving God entirely. It's like, God, if you're not gonna move here. It's like, God, if you're not gonna move here, then why am I here? You have a plan for me, right? I thought that you wanted me here to move to school. You wanted me here to be with you. I thought the school was gonna be the right choice, because it's Catholic school, there's Christians here. Nope. I felt failed. I felt like God failed me. I was in one of the darkest moments of my life when I moved to that school. I was so alone. Until I found friends and that, but still I felt distant. I love God so much, and it's so difficult to think about hating God. Oh my God, can't even. But I felt so distant in those times. I fell into so much bad sin. I was so distant from God. I've said that 1,000 times. Need water. But basically, those are so cute. I fell asleep again. We'll just do that. But basically, what happened was I felt distant from God, but I was in a good community outside of school. You need to plant yourself in a good community. That's a whole different topic. That's for a whole nother episode, a community. I'm keeping that in my head. But basically, yeah, I felt distant from God. It was a really difficult time of my life, and it's the most distant I was ever. It was so distant. I was so tired. I was so confused. I was like, God, what do you want from me? Why am I here? I was like, bro, I just need a prophetic word from God. I need a word from God right now. And I got that word a year later. Crazy, right? But yeah, what happened was, so it was youth camp in Dreamers Youth in 2024. Yes. I was like, God, I need a prophetic word. I didn't get one, but that's okay. Because someone prayed over me, they were like, everything's right in God's timing. It's like, okay, God's timing. Ooh, alright, I need to stop doing that. Alright, and I was like, okay, God's timing, right? And basically, I kept thinking, and I was like, God's timing, like, God, when's your timing? Like, I'm an impatient person, bro. I want to know what you want from me. And then I joined the worship team, and then I grew into that a bit, and then I got a word from God I don't remember when, but it was at an extended worship, right? And I got a word from God, right? And it was this year. Kind of ironic saying that before the end of the year. It was this year. Tomorrow's almost the end of the year, but it's okay. It was this year. It was in 2025, this year. I felt a word from God, and He said, greater things are to come. It's like, what does He mean by that? Greater things are to come? Like, I've heard people say that before. Like, I've read it in the Bible. People say greater things are to come in the Bible. I've heard people say it before. And it's like, God, what do you mean? I've never heard you say something like that to me. God, heck, this is one of the first times I'm hearing your voice. Like, God, what do you mean? I was so confused. And then a few days later, I was praying on a walk. I was pressing into God. I was like, God, don't shut me out. I want to be with you. God wasn't shutting me out. I was shutting Him out, if I'm being for real. But like, God, be with me, Lord. I want to be with you. Like, and then I heard his voice again, and he was like, I called you to be a worship leader. I called you to be a pastor. Greater things are to come. And I'm like, oh my God. It's not exactly what he said, but I kind of made it a little louder there. But I felt God tell me that he wants me to be. He told me that I'm gonna preach through my music. And I was like, wow, that's really good. What the hell? I started crying. I started bursting in tears, and that's where my life changed. That's where I'm like, God, I'm gonna be with you, right? Okay. All right. It's been 25 minutes. Okay, let's look in and let's talk about faith in real life. All right. It's my testimony for you guys. That was my testimony. That was my little introduction. That's how I felt to start this podcast. But yeah, all right. Yeah, I felt to start this podcast because of what had happened. It's like, God, you want me to grow and advance your kingdom. I'm going to do that through ways that's possible, through things you've given me. And gosh, I love talking. I love talking so much. I talk so much, and you know what? That can be a gift, and I could use that to start a podcast. Right. Yeah, so let's start talking about faith in real life. Putting your faith life and your real life together is so difficult. Real faith, real life, difficult. Combining them. And for me, it was so difficult. So basically, where I usually lived my life, where I was really distant from God, was in school. So this year, I was like, you know what? I want to bring God to my school. Not even this year. Last year I wanted to, but last year I didn't really lock in. This year I locked in. This year I went to talk to every single teacher. I was like, let me do this, let me do that. No. Told this one teacher, I was like, can I start a Bible study in a prayer meeting at recess and lunch? They're like, yeah, let's talk about it. I talked about it, and then they ghosted me. I sent them an email. They told me, yes, I read it, I'll respond to it. And I felt ghosted. They ghosted me. I didn't get a response back. And I was like, you know what? If this is a blockage that's going to stop me from allowing God to move in my school, I am going to break down that wall. I'm going to allow God to break down that wall, whether this teacher wants to do it or not, alright? Because I was getting mixed feelings from that teacher, alright? I need water. Chug. Alright, so, basically, what I did was, instead of waiting for the teacher, I just did it. You know what? I don't care. It's a Catholic school. What could they do? They can't kick me out for throwing my religion. It's a Catholic school, you know? So what I did was I got a few of my friends. We got together, did a Bible study during recess. We were like, this time is too short. We'll do it after school, right? After school, we head down to a cafe near the school. We do a little Bible study, and then we're done, right? They're telling their friends about it, and then one of them comes up to me, one of the people that was at the Bible study. They're like, one of my friends wants to come here, and one of my friends wants to do the Bible study. I'm like, what? I had a vision about this person. Let me tell you, bro. Camp this year, I had a vision that I was praying over this person, and at this point in time, me and the person, we were okay. We weren't that close, right? But I had a vision that I was praying over that person. I was like, God, that you there? God, is that you? I was like, bro, I kind of rushed it, and they didn't come, right? It's like, okay, you know what? I need to allow God to do his timing, right? So it comes to the end of the year, Bible study's over. I message the group chat, hey guys, do you want to meet up for a Bible study during the holidays? No response. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to wait for school to start back up again. It's all in God's timing, right? So I'm just going to wait for school to start back up, and we're going to continue that. But that's a great way to combine faith and real life. Real faith, real life. That's how to combine it. An easy way, like if you're in school right now, start a Bible study at school. Find Christian friends. That's the easiest way for me personally. And yeah, it's for me, it was an easy and simple way to combine my real faith and my real life, and it worked. The Bible study might grow a lot next year, we don't know, but next year I'm going to bring it back up to the teacher again, and hopefully we'll be able to do it in a classroom after school instead of going into that cafe every day, every week, right? Now, alright. So, yeah, but a thing that people struggle with when doing stuff like that is school pressure. School pressure is a really big thing, and it's really difficult. Like, God had a burden on me to start a Bible study in school for a really long time. I was in primary school in year 4. I know, that sounds crazy, but I brought a Bible to school to read with one of my atheist friends, which is crazy. I didn't know I was moving like that. No, I don't remember it much, but I remember this one pivotal moment, which is school pressure. Which relates to school pressure, which is, it was when I brought in the Bible. It was a kid's Bible. It was a little Galaxy kids Bible. I still have it. Couldn't show it in the next episode if I remember. But it was a little Galaxy Bible, and I had brought it, and it was like I was gonna do it, and I was gonna read it with my friend, and then a bunch of older kids came up, and I was in year 4, and they all just started making fun of me. They were like, oh, what's this kid's Bible? What's a kid's Bible? Why are you reading this? You're such a weirdo. And I was surrounded. I don't know if it was me being dramatic, but I was literally surrounded with people, and I was getting made fun of for having a Bible. And then I ran off, and then my atheist friend followed me, and I was like, do you still want to read? And she was like, I don't think I want to read this anymore. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, okay, so that's weird, right? And I was like, school pressure, that's school pressure, that's social pressure that leads people to being distant from God. We live in a world where being inappropriate to Christianity is so normalized. Am I not wrong? Am I not wrong? It's so normalized in our world to be away from Christianity. I don't know if it's the screen that's like that. Like, okay, whatever. Can bring up the brightness later. But, we live in a world where it's so normalized for people to fall into social pressure, and for people to be distant from Christianity, for people to live in sin. Sin is so normalized nowadays, and it's just social pressure to be away from Christianity is like through the roof now. I'm not kidding. It is through the roof. Damn! Like, I didn't know that school and social pressure would be so difficult now. Like, it's so weird. It's like so bad. Like, it's so difficult to be a Christian because of the social pressure. And, well, like, as me, I'm a type of person, I used to struggle with social anxiety, right? And with social anxiety, you always fall into pressure. You always fall into pressure. You're scared of people, you're scared of being judged and that. So, you always fall into pressure. And it's this idea of, like, trying to be with God without being away from Him. Like, trying to be with God without falling into the pressure, you know? But yeah. A strategy where you can, like, I don't know. I haven't struggled with this a lot. I feel like I shouldn't be talking about it, but it came out of my mouth, and I asked God to speak through me, so something I'm talking about. Yeah, it's just social pressure is so difficult now, and it's difficult to, like, be with God. It's so difficult without being judged by the public, by your flesh. You judge yourself sometimes for being with God, bro. The amount of times I wanted to leave God, insane. But I felt bad. I feel whenever I, like, get really pissed off, like, need to fix my swearing problem. Whenever I get really annoyed, like, sometimes something's happened and I I blame it on God. And it's like this idea of sometimes when you blame God for things and you try to run away from him. Like that big fish. Oh, don't get me started on that. Oh, I fell asleep again. Those birds sound so cool. They sound so cool. Okay, anyways, we just went really off topic here. But yeah. Hey, by the way, if it looks like I'm bringing topics out of nowhere, it's because I wrote down a bunch of prompts. And because I didn't know what to really talk about. Okay, but next idea of this is how to follow God without being performative. Trying to follow God without being performative. Oh, that's such a difficult thing. It's so difficult. Being performative in Christianity is so normalized. It's so bad. It's so bad. There's so many performative Christians. Like, I'm not talking about like being a bold Christian. Being a bold Christian is different from being performative. Being performative is making stuff up. Being performative is doing things to be liked by other Christians. That's what being performative is. Being performative is wearing a quarter zip and drinking matcha. Don't get me started on that, bro. Don't get me started on that performativeness. I'm not crossing my legs anymore. What the hell? So if I have this problem every episode, I'm gonna crash out. It's okay. Alright. But being performative is such a normal thing now. It's so weird. It's like you're trying to do things without looking performative, without being performative. Following God without being performative is so hard. I think there's a verse on that. I'm pretty sure. No, I don't think there is. Let's see. I don't remember the exact saying. But I'm trying to find it. Sorry guys, bear with me here. Bear with me here. Okay, never mind, I don't think there is. Alright, anyways. But yeah, trying to follow God without being performative is a difficult thing, because man, it's so hard. Okay. It's difficult, and some ways to stop it are even more difficult, bruh. They're difficult. Okay. That's really okay. I'm not gonna talk about trying to follow God without being performative. I kinda just wasted your time there, sorry guys. I need to finish this off. It's almost becoming 40 minutes, which is what I was aiming for. So okay. So let's just reflect on this. Alright. I had to skip past a lot of stuff that I'll include in the next episode, guys. Don't worry. We will talk about being performative in the next episode, because, you know, I know some people that might want to be in this as co-hosts, so we're going to invite them in, and we're going to have some people with us next episode, so it won't be just me. That's great. Alright, so let's reflect. Something I've learned so far about trying to live a real life with a real faith is just being bold, being open, being vulnerable. When you're being vulnerable, you're open to allowing things in. When you're with God, you're meant to be vulnerable so you can allow things to come in and transform your life. Alright? I'm still trying to figure out some things too. Like, I'm not a perfect human being. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a preacher. I'm not God. Believe me, some of my advice might not be good. If you ask me for advice, I'll help you out surely, but it might not be helpful, you know? But I'm still struggling with things. I'm still struggling with overthinking. I'm still struggling with social anxiety. Like, I'm still struggling with some things that I've been trying to overcome. Like, honestly, I've pretty much overcome social anxiety. I'll talk to whoever I want. Like, I'll be fine, bro. But it's like sometimes I doubt as well. Like, I've had so many times where I've doubted God, and it's like, bro, why are you doubting God? Like, He's worked so much in your life, but you're still doubting Him, and it's like, does it mean weak faith? No, it doesn't. Don't worry, okay? Doubt does not mean weak faith, and it's a normal thing, okay? If we're talking from, like, a psychological perspective, we question things. Like, our personal instinct is to question things. Like, we're not gonna go and drink water from the sewer, are we? We're questioning if it's safe or not. We're not gonna eat the grass on the floor. It's not safe. We're gonna question if it's safe or not. We're not gonna go, like, run off into the horizon. Is it safe? We're gonna question that, right? And we doubt things. We doubt the safety of things. We doubt the healthiness of things. And that's a completely normal thing. And it doesn't mean weak faith. It does not mean weak faith, alright? Do not worry. Alright? Okay. Okay. I'm gonna have to end off the episode now. So, you know what? We're gonna end off every episode with some affirmations. So, let's search up an affirmation. Affirmation relating to real faith, real life, Christianity. I'm gonna search it up on Google because I can't come up with stuff like that on the spot. Alright, let's... Alright, gonna try and find when affirmations of faith. Okay, so these are two verses. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made by God, and I am a vessel for God's peace and kindness. That's the affirmations, guys. Alright, anyways, yeah. Those are our affirmations for the end of this episode. Next episode is gonna be about, I don't know. It's probably gonna be about some of the things that we didn't cover here. Like, we're definitely gonna expand more on allowing God to move through your school. We didn't talk about that. We talked about that a lot, actually. But we're going to talk about allowing God to move through your school. We're going to talk about following God without being performative. We're going to talk about feeling a little bit different sometimes, and how real faith isn't perfect, which is going to be the next episode, which is great. Alright, we're going to have some hosts the next episode, but I'm going to keep that a secret. But yeah, we're going to post an episode every week. I think every week is good. Every week will be a new episode, guys. And yeah, I hope y'all have an amazing week. And Happy New Year, because this episode is probably going to be out by New Year's. Alright. See you guys.